Hey, Andrew. Technical difficulties this morning.
It's so funny how much goes on behind the scenes before we go, hey.
Listen, I think but the beauty is we just jump into it. You're back from Connecticut. You're in our studio.
Yeah, I'm back.
We covered a lot. We already recorded a little bit. Let me just go over the things. He misses me. He says my chair is empty, much like Clint Eastwood in that one video that we don't really know the details of, but where Clint Eastwood was like screaming at a chair about Barack Obama. And then you were Brenna wanted you to say something dirty in bed, and you said she was vibrant.
Yes.
Vibrant.
You did skip
like
over how your body is outlined through self tanner on the chair, so it looks like a dead body. Yeah, it looks like I'm a dead body, and you said that the person doing the chalk outline, it looks like they honored my request to still be tan even in death. Give it a little pizzazz.
Yeah. Okay. So you said to Brenna that she was vibrant. Did you get a word a day calendar or something that you were trying to incorporate new? Did you just gone to Sherwin-Williams and were selecting paint and you had heard that word? What did you mean by vibrant? Because I don't know what you meant by that.
I think I meant I just noticed the room's also painted yellow. This is fantastic. Anyways, yeah. Sorry, ADD.
Vibrant,
young. And
actually, do you think that that paint is so tight and wet? What if you just like you talked about paint the way you should talk about Brenna, and you talked about Brenna the way you should talk about paint? You're like, Brenna's like, say something nasty to me, like just really dirty talk, and you're like, you with 2 coats you can last up to 10 years. Like, I don't know.
I keep thinking about, I know less about paint than I do pussy, and it's close, but neither one I know much about. Like, I think I've painted one wall, and I think I made one girl have an orgasm. So it's
oh my god.
I think
it's like watching
young,
pussy dry.
I like them both real dry. I wish paint came out like fucking what's that? A powder. Powder. I said it like chowder.
Okay, vibrant.
I said young, vibrant, and illegal, actually, which I thought illegal was kind of funny.
Right. Do you make jokes in bed? Is that like a safe place to, like, when your like penis is hard, are you like cracking jokes?
I try not to.
Isn't erection hard to maintain when you're giggling?
Well, she's already laughing. No, I don't.
No, she can laugh. Girls can laugh, but guys, when they're hard.
Yeah, I don't know. I do laugh sometimes in bed when we are inside each other, and yeah, I don't know, man. I try not to make it too funny because it's hard to like really work up an orgasm while you're laughing too much. I think there's like there's a line between.
It's I agree. I've always said that, like, you can make jokes after the guy comes and he can really laugh, but he can't, because a lot of times when I would be having sex, like, for a woman, you don't have to maintain anything. Like, sure, you have to maintain wetness, but you're not like your mind isn't racing like. Well, a lot of women's minds are racing about, oh, my body looks a certain way. Like, I'm able to come up with jokes. Like, I can think of funny things. My horniness doesn't like take over my brain the way it does men's. Like, it's almost like a virus, your horniness. Like, it makes you guys so dumb. And you would think dumb equals funny, but you guys can't really laugh at twists of logic and irony.
It's like when patting your head and rubbing your belly at the same time. Like,
yeah.
When I'm fucking, I can only rub my belly, which is staying hard and trying to stay like, I don't know. There is something sexy about being funny, but then it's like you laugh and it's sometimes hard to get back on track. You know what I mean? Like,
I think that I compare it to, I never understand why people would listen to comedy podcasts when they're working out, because it makes my body jelly. Like, It just makes, it takes, I can't like keep my, like, whenever I listen to Lonely Island sometimes, even, like, those songs can really pump me up, but they're so funny that I kind of go like, and I like almost fall off the treadmill, because it's just like, it's a different part of your brain. And, it's all about like the kind of thing that I talked about on stage is like funny women, not just necessarily funny women, even though it's been proven that they're not as sexually attractive to men as women who just are just like not opinionated and smart. But it's true. It's proven. But I think that funniness can be sexy for a woman. Like we can find a guy funny, but like also if a girl laughs in bed, like guys are so flooded with insecurities in bed, and so are women. I mean, I should know. I am one most days, and like a laugh at the wrong time about like, you know, if your skin is sweaty and it make your chest farts or something, like it can just take you out of it. It's just, yeah. So I get that. But you said vibrant, and then did you go then make it up to her by saying like, remember when I called you a whale? Wasn't that worse?
A vibrant whale. Yeah, yeah.
And he called her a whale because she was wearing blue, by the way.
I definitely joke at times where it becomes too intimate, and I think I need to not do that sometimes. I think
when feelings get too strong and you gotta cut it with humor.
Yeah, and I'm gonna try not to do that quite as much. I think I did that. We were in bed and we were saying I love you to each other, and I just made an observation about her saying I love you a lot instead of just saying I love you back. Like, you know, like I was like I made an analogy, like I was like doing a bit instead of just being like I love you too, because I do love her extremely much. But at the time I go, she was like I love you, and I go, man, you say that a lot. Like I made an observation, like not even thinking.
Yeah.
And and then I go, you know, it's like when someone sneezes, do you say God bless you every time if they sneeze 8 times?
That's funny. That's really
keep
funny.
saying I love you back, and I really meant it as like complete, but it was just not. It was a terrible time. Like it could have been funny maybe 2 days later.
It seemed like you were dodging it.
Yeah, but I say I love you back all the time. It was literally just an observation of like, how many times do...
Oh, right. Like she probably took it like... Because a lot of times people go, I don't even want to say bless you or gesundheit. You know, like, why do I have to do this every time? It's almost like, ugh. So she maybe took that as you expressing some exhaustion with the amount of I love yous, which wasn't your point. You were just kind of like making observation that you always do have to say, Andrew, it's so funny. Someone told me I love you today, and I didn't write it back because I was addressing something else in it. And I was like, oh my God, I've never not reciprocated it. And that's so weird. We are like on the same... But I didn't connect that.
That's happened to you? That's so weird.
Literally this morning, I woke up to a text where someone was like, just being emotional with me and saying like how much they appreciate me, and was like, I really love you. And then I wrote back to like the whole thing and was like, but I didn't write it back. But I do, like, it's just, it's wild.
I mean, I love her.
But I love you as fraught, man.
I love her so much, and it's just like it's just making. Also, I do think
you can tell.
I thought more about it
weekend.
too, and I was like, oh, I also like. There's definitely something inside me that when someone says they love me, I don't take it in because I don't love myself a lot of times. So I feel like I don't. I think I deflect on it a little bit because I'm like, how does this person love me so much? Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? And I think
I do.
Yeah. So, but it was great. It was an amazing weekend. And
wait, I just want to go back to that real quick because I think that's so relatable, and like. And it's hard to admit that like that might be the source of it, because people go, no, I love myself. Like people have a really hard time admitting that they might have they might not love themselves, which is, I would say most people don't like themselves. I would say the vast majority, especially of Americans in our culture, do not like themselves inherently. And you might think you do, but when people choose bad people for themselves or, allow abuse to happen, like if you loved yourself, that wouldn't happen. That doesn't mean you're a bad person that you don't love yourself. It means you didn't get your emotional needs met. And you don't even know how to do that. And it's, I always thought I loved myself and like had, self-esteem, but like, you just got to go, okay, well, this thing that I'm tolerating, or like abusing my body with this, addiction's a different thing because it's really out of your control, and so is everything. There's no free will, and you guys know that. But if you wouldn't allow your child, a child to experience that, or someone you love in your life, then and you're tolerating it, then you don't love yourself. And you can make the argument like, I'm stronger than this person. I can do it. Those are just excuses so that you can keep on, rationalizing that you're different, you're unique. Like I was talking about this in the intro that we lost, but like so many people think they're unique so that they don't have to do things, or like, I was talking about like when I used to starve myself. Everyone's like, you got to eat 3 meals a day. Like, that'll change your life. You won't binge because you won't be starving. And I go, I don't get to, I'm different. Other girls can look the way I want to look and the way that I'm meant to look and eat 3 meals a day, but not Nikki Glaser. I need less because if I eat normal, I'm going to be gigantic. And, you know, I had a moral judgment over what that would mean. But the truth is, like, I'm just average. Like, my abusive therapist was right. I'm not unique. I'm not special. Some people, yeah, I guess you are special, but like, and I was giving the example of guitar. Like, there's so many things that over the years made me not want to do guitar or not want to sing. I go, oh, I can't play guitar because my fingers like don't move that way and they like hurt. Django Reinhardt has, he's one of the greatest guitarists of all time. 3 fingers. I found out 3 fingers because I said 2 in the intro that we lost, and Noah held up 3, and I thought we had 3 minutes left in the show. And then we talked about how would he be? He wouldn't be a good podcast producer. Everyone would always be rushing things when they had more time. But
he'd be great at a countdown.
Oh yeah, just 3, 2, 1.
When you hear 3, 2, 1, do you think of Wayne's World? I do every time.
No.
Remember, they go 3, 2, and you don't say 1.
You don't do the
and
1.
He mouthed it. And he goes 1.
Yeah.
Anyhow, but yeah, no, I hear what you're saying about the lovable thing and like thinking you're different and thinking you're so unique. And for so long, you can use that as an excuse to be like, well, no, that's not me. And then even with love, it's like, I'm not deserving of love. Even sounds kind of like cheesy in a way. But yeah, I don't know. I'm you know, throughout this relationship, I've definitely taken it in more and not tried to be like, I don't know if I'm a relationship type person, you know?
Yeah, you're right on point with that stuff. And like, I feel like, I don't know, there's just so many times I convince myself I can't do things because I just go, I'm different. Other people are like, even my voice is like, I quit smoking pot and my voice is still like, I can't hit high notes. And I'm like, I just am not meant to do it. It's like, no, bitch, go to a voice instructor. Miley Cyrus talks like this, and she can hit high notes. It's like nothing's holding me back, you know. Like just that, like Lou Reed has a gross voice, and he makes it work. Like stop convincing yourself you're special.
I know. It's like we withhold things from ourselves by saying we're special. Like special, you would think is a positive.
All in all, you're not special, but you are lovable.
Yes, that's so true.
Isn't that ironic? Don't you think? Okay, let's get to the news.
That's a great bumper sticker.
But you're not special, but you're lovable.
What if it's way worse if it's my kid special and not lovable?
Yeah, don't make that bumper sticker.
All right. Let's go to You Heard It Here First.
You heard it here first. Yeah, you heard it here first.
Oh, man, I hope you had a great weekend out there, folks. I had a very nice weekend. I hope you had all the swells. And if I say weekend one more time, maybe the weekend will appear and sing for me. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's Tuesday, by the way.
Oh, shit.
Don't worry about it, dude. Listen, this is a weekly thing for you.
It's Friday o'clock somewhere. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. First headline.
So wait, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
The milk crate challenge is a viral trend.
Ugh. I hate. No. I was ucking the milk crate challenge.
No,
I hate it.
I know. This should have been Why Do I Care? But
oh yeah.
People create obstacle courses. I mean, I think everyone knows at this point what it is. A lot of people are getting hurt. What do you do?
If you don't know what it is, because someone was talking about it recently, and I didn't know what it was. They stack milk crates almost like
a pyramid,
like starting with like a pyramid, yeah. And you got to run up them and then run down the other side without falling. And people, it's so hard for some reason. I can't even watch these compilations. People get so hurt.
I mean, it's so. It really does show though, like.
Oh, we're watching a fat guy teeter on the top of one, and I say fat with love. He's just a
hefty man.
Yeah. There's a woman that did it in like huge stiletto heels, very like gingerly. Oh no, he broke something for sure. Oh my god.
This just shows how much like people aren't drinking regular milk anymore.
Yeah, I want to stack almond. We should stack our almond milk cartons, those little, and do an almond milk
Yeah,
challenge.
let's
I mean, that has to have been done.
Let's appropriate the crate challenge by making it oat milk.
Oat milk, recyclable, carbon-friendly packaging.
I do think it does show like something with like how much your brain takes over your body, because they're fine on the first 3 crates, and then when they get to the 4th crate, yeah, it's a little less stable, but it can't be that much less stable. You know what I mean? Like, and I think like your legs start to shake. You see that you're higher. You see that you're almost making it. And then,
yeah,
I don't know. I just think it shows a lot of the human brain and how it works through this absurd crate challenge.
Oh my gosh, that stance was almost like the crate challenge. Like, you started off with a really good point. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
You actually
you're
stuck
right.
the landing on that one. You did. I was just making a joke.
I
but
got pretty shaky in the middle there.
Yeah, in the middle I was worried, but then I was like, oh my God, he got it back. Well, listen, I gotta brag a little bit here, but and not brag, but like I hate to talk sports when I don't know anything about sports, but I watched the Jake Paul Woodley, I don't know his first name, fight the other night.
Yeah.
Tyrone?
Why?
Is it
Where?
Tyler?
Tyrone.
At Tim and Emma's.
Or Tyron.
And Tyron, okay, he's from Ferguson, which is right in St. Louis, and
Yeah.
I loved it because I saw Michael Rappaport post their like kind of face off, which was at like a podcast desk. It looked like they were going to do an in depth like WTF with Mark Maron, and so they're sitting down and they're talking shit, and it was just that dynamic was so fascinating that I was like, I need to watch this, and I knew that some of my friends were going to watch it, so I was like, I want in on this. And I know Jake Paul is just like a guy. It's also not MMA, so there's not as much blood and like kicking to the face and like just things that like it's brutal for me to like. Watching that guy fall in the milk crate was not fun. I hate ridiculousness. I hate Tosh.0. I never like seeing people get hurt. But boxing, I saw the Tyson fight where he bit Holyfield's ear off. Like I've been watching it since I was a kid because my dad worked for cable and always got free pay-per-view, and my parents loved boxing. I loved that fight the other night, and I was completely like blown away that Jake Paul in the 4th round looked like he was out. Like, I go, it's done, because you can't get punched in the head that much and like see straight. And then he lasted all 8 rounds. Like, I thought he was out. I was not by any means rooting for him. I was rooting for Chappelle. I thought Chappelle was going to not last 8 rounds. He was standing and clapping the whole damn time. But did you watch it? I mean, I'm sure you watched highlights.
The highlights of it, and I know a ton about like the story behind it.
So do I now.
I mean, Jake Paul.
Want to go toe to toe?
Oh, you want to go toe to? You want to crate challenge this? Are you sure?
Yeah.
All right, Noah, ask us any question. I know everything.
I mean, let's just do like.
Okay, I'll go first.
Sure.
So Jake Paul was on Disney Channel. His older brother's Logan Paul. He is a YouTube sensation. About 3 years ago, he decided to start boxing. He boxed another YouTuber, which he drawed with, and then he ended up being like, hey, I want to be a boxer because I'm tired of making cheesy little shitty videos every day where I, do a move on a bicycle while someone goes, oh. And so So then he starts boxing and he starts taking it seriously. So does Logan. They both have an athletic background. They both wrestled in high school from Ohio. Big guys, bigger than you think, more athletic than you think. Jake Paul ends up fighting 3 fights. Last fight against Ben Askren, who he knocked out, who happens to be best friends with Tyron Woodley, who's also from here. He went to University of Missouri, which is connected to Nikki somehow. This crate is getting.
Yeah, you're at the top of the crate, man.
Yeah.
Can I take us down the other side?
Yeah, take us down, baby.
Okay, so Woodley fought Ben. Is his name? What's his last name?
Ben
Sorry,
Askren.
I guess.
No,
Ben
Jake Paul fought Ben.
Sorry. Yeah, Jake.
He just fell. Everyone's laughing at you.
I know, everyone. I'm that guy that fell. Okay, so Woodley's best friend, Ben Askren, he shows up to weigh in, and he looks like dad bod. Like, this guy didn't put in any effort because he's fighting a YouTuber. Like, he didn't even train. Actually, he did train. That's just what his body looks like. He fought Ben Askren. Askren has also got a place in Wisconsin where he lives with his wife and kids. They've got a frisbee golf course there. He's just living the life. He's happy. His best friend. So when his best friend was fighting Jake Paul, or when Ben was fighting Jake Paul, Woodley comes into the locker room when they're he went in to watch him tape up. Ben went in to watch Jake Paul tape up to make sure he wasn't doing anything squirrely. Standard procedure. Then Woodley and him start talking shit, and that's when Woodley locked in and was like, I'm going to beat this motherfucker. And so then that's when it started. And then Woodley is mainly a wrestler. He grew up wrestling, and then he also is very accomplished with UFC. He is, a big guy, but not like the tallest guy. I don't know. These are things I know about him. He was wearing white shorts with pink and blue.
Uh-oh, your legs are getting wobbly.
So then he challenges Jake Paul. Jake Paul is just a boxer who's only been, really focusing on it for 3 years. Woodley's not really a boxer either and is mainly UFC wrestling. So they are both coming at it. The analogy that my friends used is that said, Nikki, it's like in 3 years if you challenged a rapper to a rock and roll concert. Like, they're musicians and have worked in that field of music, but not specifically rock and roll. But you have never worked in rock and roll except 3 years. So it'd be like me being like a Taylor Swift sing-off with Nicki Minaj, which she would whoop my ass probably, even though she's mainly a rapper. Do you know what I'm saying? Is that a good analogy?
I see what you're saying. Also, Woodley's 39, Jake Paul's 24.
Oh, yeah.
Woodley's also apparently pretty much bankrupt, and Jake Paul's making millions upon millions of dollars. So, and there's a whole thing about whether or not the fight is rigged.
Oh, yeah, there's a whole thing of that. But, I heard that Woodley, since he's become an older man in the past 5 years, since people, I have friends that really know a lot about him, he has always, they even predicted it. They go, even before the fight, they're like, Woodley just doesn't, he gives up. He crate challenges. He just kind of, I was just waiting for him to kick in because he was holding back so much during the whole fight. And Jake Paul is swinging so much more than him, really bouncing around more, head up. Woodley is just I thought, as it got down to the last 15 seconds of the final round, I go, this guy's going to come out of nowhere and this is going to be a knockout. But it didn't happen, and he never came out with any pizzazz. So maybe, what are they saying it's rigged? How are they saying it's rigged?
Well, they think, Woodley at one point had Jake Paul in trouble. Woodley has lost his last 3 or 4 fights too in the UFC, and he was gun shy, so that was the whole thing. But they said that if Jake Paul loses and gets knocked out, this whole train is over. He's making $20 million a fight. If he loses, he's not going to come back from it. He's done.
I thought they made 500,000.
500,000.
Dude, that's what I heard.
No,
what they're walking away with. I mean, maybe after all is said and done on the back end, but 500 is what they make. But we can fact check that later. Let's get to the next story. Great challenge.
I think we both fell at the same time. Okay. Great challenge. Next story. Changing your situation can be therapy, but people tend to ignore the impact of situational factors on their behavior of themselves and others. So essentially, we always say it doesn't matter where you are as long as you love yourself, but apparently it does.
But that's also a factor of if you love yourself or not. If you're staying in a place that isn't good or staying in a situation that isn't good, if you don't love yourself, if you're going to stay in it. If you do love yourself, you're going to find a way out. So I do think it still comes down to that. And that's what they call in 12-step program stuff, pulling a geographic, where you go, you know what? I'm going to move to California and it's all going to be different. It's no, unless you change what's in here, and I'm pointing to my larynx.
Oh, larynx.
Yeah. Unless you get those tits, unless you get implants, California's not going to be different for you, babe. If anything, you're not going to be as valuable there.
The example though, so there was a kid in high school who, in the normal kind of public school system, he wasn't thriving. He became an introvert. He became really sad and depressed. They put him in a different kind of school that was more inclined to fill his needs. And next thing you know, he's starring in the musical the next year, and completely changed him, how he interacted with people. So, I mean, one could come after the other. You could start loving yourself based off if you change your situation first. Let's say you lived in Detroit and it was fucking cold all the time.
Yeah, well,
and then,
a lot of times you're right. Kids don't get to change their situation because they're beholden to what their parents do for them. So that
Yes.
can make sense. Like, but if you're an adult that can do your own things, like if you're blaming your situation for making you miserable, and I know a lot of times you're like, I can't quit my job, I can't move, I don't have the then I don't know what to tell you. Actually, that sucks. And I mean, yeah, I like living in poverty is going to make you sadder than living in not
Yes.
poverty. I mean, it's just.
but wouldn't you rather live in poverty on the beach? Or would that just make you more
no.
sad because you're next to the beach and everyone's happy?
Yeah, well, people say that, like, if you're homeless, why wouldn't you move to California instead of New York? And it's because I don't know why people do that. Actually.
She's on fire.
I'm one of those people that actually says that, and there's got to be an answer for it because
Well, I think the walking traffic in New York is better, so you're more inclined to make more money.
that's
you
a good
know,
point.
There's,
And then the traffic is just bad in LA. Am I right? Oh, let's take a break and then get to Why Do I Care?
Hi, I'm Baratunde Thurston, host of the new podcast Force Multiplier. When I was a kid, my favorite cartoon was Voltron, Defenders of the Universe. I loved these individuals combining to form a much more powerful entity. This podcast kind of reminds me of Voltron. Force Multiplier is about leveling up the impact we can have on the world through our relationships. Whether we're talking about health inequity, nutrition insecurity, or racism, we're facing unprecedented challenges that require unprecedented collaboration across disciplines and sectors. Join me as I sit with leaders from across the public, private, and nonprofit worlds who are forging partnerships to take action on some of the toughest challenges facing us today. Maybe you'll even get inspired yourself. Welcome to Force Multiplier, an iHeartRadio original podcast with Salesforce.org. Let's change the world one relationship at a time. Listen to Force Multiplier on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
The stories that are affecting the Black community are being covered on the Black Information Network. Not a show or a podcast, BIN is a 24/7 news network covering stories from a Black perspective. Listen to the Black Information Network on the iHeartRadio app and get news for and by the Black community. Anywhere, anytime. Keeping you informed, keeping you engaged. The Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Bienvenidos, mi gente. Gloria Estefan here. We are bringing Red Table Talk the Estefans to podcast. Just like our Red Table Talk sisters, we have brought 3 generations together to talk family, relationships, and social issues from the perspective of 3 fabulosas Latinas. Join me with my niece Lily, a beloved Latina TV star and devoted mother of 2. She is Estefan.
You can break my heart, but you cannot take my soul.
And my daughter Emily. She's a talented musician, she's outspoken, and a powerful voice of her generation. She's Esta Fresh.
People need people, but you have to make the first step to say that.
And I'm Esta Fierce. I'm Gloria Estefan. I'm a performer. I've been married for 42 years, have 2 children, 1 grandson, and 5 dogs. Listen to Red Table Talk the Estefans as part of the My Cultura podcast network, available on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, why do I care? Why do I care?
Okay. Dennis Rodman's 48 Hours in Vegas will be turned into a movie. Now, back to sports, unfortunately. Sorry, Nikki.
I'm
remember the
in.
Michael Jordan documentary?
Oh, do I remember the Michael Jordan documentary? The Last Dance made me feel like all I want to do is think about basketball, play basketball, learn about basketball, read about basketball. I was obsessed. I was immersed in that sport and that story. And yes, of course, I remember the 48 hours that Dennis Rodman disappeared right before. I think it was like they were leading into a time where it was like, he shouldn't have disappeared. And he went with Carmen Electra to Vegas, and no one heard from him. No one could reach him. And then he just showed up on game day ready to go.
It really ties into the other thing about changing your situation. I mean, he's like, the only way I can rebound is if I have a stripper put her pussy in my mouth while my girlfriend watches.
That's what they told him. They were like, you need to go do this. And like, what's the coach's name?
Phil Jackson.
Yeah, Jackson was just like, listen, I mean, that seemed so irresponsible to let him just go, but he put in the work when he needed to. That guy, Rodman, knew how to focus. I met Rodman at the roast of Rob Lowe, and he was like, he asked me like what I was doing after that. I don't think he knew I was on the show. I honestly, and he had just like really bombed in a way that was so deeply uncomfortable to watch. I turned into a stage mom. It went from being like, oh God, this guy tried to like kind of touch me in a weird way that I didn't like and hit on me, to like leaning forward in my seat going like, you can do it, it's okay, Dennis, because he had to like restart a bunch, and like it was like really HT dubs. You know
what's crazy about Dennis Rodman? He grew 10 inches when he was 21 years old.
Wow. Oh, I know that was just, you were just fingers crossed that you had some of that Rodman like late stage spurt.
Oh my God. If I grew 10 inches right now, oh my God.
You know what? I was with a guy who is 5'8", I want to say, the other day. And we were talking about UFC and like how your reach is like very important. It's more important than your height. And I go, well, height and reach are the same thing, because your wingspan, when you have your arms stretched out, is the same exact height as your height. Almost all the time. And so we measured it. I went against the wall and I did, I measured my wingspan. It's exactly my height, like exactly. And it checks out. But this guy, his wingspan was 3 inches taller than what he was. And so, you split that in half because each arm is an inch and a half. He was meant to be, he was meant to be 3 inches taller, and his feet are bigger, are the size of usually a taller man's. And something happened where his height did not match up to the rest of his like body.
Maybe his parents kept him in like a cage, like veal.
They did, but we didn't think it was that. That was just for that affected him psychologically, but not physically. I want to do your wingspan. I want to check.
I have very long arms, short hands, but I bet you.
I think you were meant to be taller.
Oh, for sure. I mean, there's a lot of NBA players. There's some NBA players that have they're 6'4" and their wingspan 6'10". It's like,
I was talking about squirting yesterday, and I always thought I couldn't do it. As a woman, I knew I could do it, but like I thought that like I just like it wasn't going to happen for me. And Emil Joaquim, who was with me, goes, "Oh, it's like dunking for dudes," and I was like, "Yeah, it's like a dunk tank when it happens."
Dunkaroos.
But guys dunking, like short guys can dunk. You've seen it happen. And I even said Bugsy Mogs, and I fucked that up because it's Muggsy Bogues. But he's a famous short guy that could dunk in the NBA. I mean, he was like, Emil said he was like 5'4" or something. Like,
yeah, but he never dunked in a game.
He dunked. Oh, he did it, but he could dunk. But he could dunk.
There's stories of him dunking. Yeah, Spud Webb could dunk. He's 5'7". Yeah, go.
Okay, so like anyone who's 5'7" can't be like, I could dunk if I was taller. Well, what about Webb Spud or like Bugsy Mogs? All right, we gotta go to Reddit dump. Let's do it quickly because my car is waiting for me. And you know what? He can wait.
Karaoke mode.
This is your Reddit dump. Oh my God, we have the new.
Dude, that sounds like you're taking a shit. It sounds.
Yeah, it sounds like I'm in a bathroom. Bathroom mode. Urinal mode. Okay, what is the most... This is from Ask Reddit. It says, what is the most disturbing thing to know? And this is just like a kind of like facts that people are like, this is the most disturbing thing. I read one that said pelicans are some of the most demonic birds in existence, if not some of the most demonic creatures. Pelicans will go into other birds' nests, shove the parent out of the nest. They will then swallow babies whole, fly back to their own nest, and regurgitate the still half-alive, partially digested babies to their own babies. Some pelicans are literally raised on the partially digested living flesh of other baby birds. That's horrifying.
They're all a bunch of Jeffrey Dahmers with families. It's wild.
Another fact, if you try to grab the brain in its natural state, it will fall apart. When you see scientists pick up the brain, they have used chemicals to harden it.
Whoa.
Oh, fuck. That's weird. Okay. Anything can happen to anyone at any moment. I had my first seizure at 18. No family member has had epilepsy before. Never take anything for granted. It can all change in an instant. Well, fuck. I'm about to get on a goddamn plane, and I'm scared I'm going to have a seizure on it. Man, I saw a woman get kicked off a plane.
What?
In St. Louis. Her kids were sucking on lollipops, and so they didn't have their masks on, and the flight attendant was like, when they were boarding, they told the woman, like, your children need to have masks, and she was like, give me a fucking break. She kind of muttered it, and he goes, you just cussed at me. You're off. out. And she goes, I didn't cuss at you. And she goes, did you hear me cuss at him? Like screams to the passengers. And the kids are already like down at the end of the plane. And she's like screaming at other passengers, like, did you hear me cuss at him? And everyone's like, I don't know, lady. Everyone's just like filming her. Like, we're not going to help you. And he goes, ma'am, you cussed at me. And she goes, I didn't cuss at you. And he goes, you said the F word. And she goes, she goes, I didn't say it. I said, I didn't cuss at you. First she goes, I didn't cuss. So she was lying. Because then she goes, I didn't cuss at you. I said, give me a fucking break. That's what I said, but it wasn't to you. And he was like, it doesn't matter. Now you're cussing at me. You're off. I'm going to have the cops. So the cops had to come.
Oh my God.
And then the woman goes, come on, kids. We're getting kicked off the plane because I gave you suckers. And I go, these poor children, and you know what? After I posted a video of it, and I go, this poor lady, you know, I understand that these Karens are like awful people, and you want to just hate these people who have explosions, but something really bad has happened in this woman's life that has led her to like not be able to manage her anger like that. And like, it would just suck to be someone that acts that way. So I felt bad for everyone involved. Those poor fucking kids though.
Yeah, I just feel like that guy kind of, I wasn't there, but if she just said, are you fucking kidding me under her breath or something? You didn't have to, he escalated it sounded like too.
He did.
It was like an ego thing. I'm sure he's gotten a ton of shit.
I would have done the same thing the woman did is what I'm saying.
What's that?
That's why I'm empathizing with. I would have had the same reaction the woman did, I think. That's why I'm empathizing with her.
Yeah.
It's like she just said, give me I've done that on planes, you know, where I go, oh, I have to check my bag. That guy, I did it the other day. I was like, you told me to check my bag, and that guy, you just let that man put his bag up. And it was like, this woman wasn't watching that man. Like, shut up, Nikki. Shut up. You've had a long day, and you're being a bitch. Okay, one other thing that is on this Ask Reddit. I love this. By the time you show symptoms of rabies, it's already too late.
Oh, man.
You're going to die. So, okay, one more Reddit thing. Let's see. Oh, God, that was disturbing. Okay.
I love the person though that got bit by a rabid dog, and then they're showing signs, and they're like, "What could it be? Could it have been the rabid dog?"
This is life pro tips where you just like learn something really that you should have known. LPT, life pro tip: if you need to quickly convert Celsius to Fahrenheit, double it and add 30. Vice versa for Fahrenheit to Celsius. Subtract 30 and divide by 2. It's not an exact conversion, but more of a temperature range. So then this is why I like this one. Someone said, this is like for a little thing that you can memorize that will help you with Celsius. 0 is freezing, 10 is not. 20 is pleasing, 30 is hot. One more time. 0 is freezing, 10 is not. 20 is pleasing.
30
is okay. And then someone converted that to Fahrenheit. Someone that knows Celsius only was like
30 is freezing.
And so 30 is freezing. 50 it works. 30 is freezing. 50 is not. Right. 70 is pleasing. 90 is hot. I love that. I just thought I wanted to share that with besties. I thought that was kind of cool. Final thought. Let's take us into our last Reddit thing. This was an Ask Reddit. How far did you go in a game of Truth or Dare?
How far would I go?
And how far did you go? So it's just like people telling stories of how far they went. Someone said, I picked up a hat and also some grapes with my butt.
Wait, what? How do you pick up a butt with your hat? A hat with your butt? I
mean, I would assume you just spread your cheeks and then like release them back to their natural state over a hat. And then maybe the hat had grapes in it. Someone also said, I peed in the litter box in our basement. My mom thought the cat had a serious issue because it filled the whole box. My brother ratted on me, and my mom played the shit out of me by saying she was going to have to put the cat down because of a bladder issue. I cried and told her the truth. That's a cool mom. One person said, and I highlighted this, so I think I must have liked it. It says, when I was 13, my friend dared me to show my penis to his mom. She was just making lunch in the kitchen, and I went for it. Her immediate reaction was, did Andy tell you to do this? All his friends do this to me. Apparently, that was his go-to dare. Is that your mom, dude? Did she call you Andy?
I love that it's fucking like 15 dicks later.
And Reddit makes me laugh so hard because people are commenting under it and said that poor mother has seen some shit, and then someone says that poor mother has seen some dick, and people are just like, someone wrote the weirdest thing they did for a dare. All it says is 8 a pencil. No other details. Ate a pencil. Andrew,
Where would you even start?
What's the weirdest thing you've done for
I mean,
a
have
dare?
you ever
Or
tried
like
to
because
chew on
kids.
you ever try to like? Remember when your pencil wouldn't be sharp and you didn't have a pencil sharpener, so you would try to chew on it to get it.
Yeah, like strip it away.
And it tasted that graphite. I mean,
If you can't believe that someone can eat a pencil, no one can believe that someone can eat a pencil because you have chewed on myriad
actually, I take this
utensils.
back. I've chewed on a myriad of pencils
Yeah.
in my
Did
life.
you not hear me just say that, or are you crate challenging me and saying the same thing in a different way on the way down?
Did you say myriad?
Yeah.
Shut up.
I said myriad, but you said mirrored, and that's your crate challenge of like just kind of phoning. I literally said the same thing. I go, you've chewed on a myriad of utensils, and then you go, I've chewed on a myriad of things.
Pencils.
Dude, that's so funny. If a woodchuck could chuck, he would
eat a pencil.
You would eat a pencil. What's the weirdest thing you've ever done for a dare? Or like a thing that you've done because your friends were like, do this, dude.
Oh man. Damn, that's hard.
I think
what was yours?
I think it was like probably admitting I watched porn once, like on a truth. And then I thought I was going to be like accepted and everyone would be like, oh my God, so do I. But everyone was just like, what? What? And it was just like, oh no. And I thought about jumping off a balcony after that because I was so scared they were going to tell Brittany Burke. What is wrong with me? That was in 8th grade. I watched porn for a whole weekend. My parents were out of town. I don't know why they left us alone, but I convinced them, and we had pay-per-view, like I mentioned before. And we had it for free. Channel 42 was porn all the time, and I watched it all weekend long. All weekend long. It was awesome. I was so horny. I didn't even touch myself, but I was just jazzed up. Yeah.
I thought of my best dare.
Okay.
My brother Dan dared me to. There was ketchup packets on a plane, and he dared me to punch the ketchup packet, like make it explode. And I hit it, and it.
Oh my God.
And it went on this like 95-year-old woman's face, like just covered with ketchup.
Well, if we've learned anything today, 95 is hot.
95 is hot, especially with ketchup on it. Yeah.
Ketchup is what were you gonna? I was gonna say something about you punching ketchup. Yeah, you.
Well, that's a joke.
You.
What did the tomato
You should have gotten kicked off that plane. Someone should have kicked you off that plane, not the woman that gave. All I did was give my kids ketchup.
What did the tomato say to the? What did the tomato say after punching the other tomato? Ketchup.
Ketchup, man.
Ketchup, man.
And I just realized that when you said dare, like my brother dared, I thought you were saying my brother dared because I always convert your dares to durs.
Fred
because
Durst?
you say, daring this thing, daring the other, like instead of during, you say daring. So when you said dare, I converted in my head to dur for you. It's like when I was in Cayman Islands and I always would get in the driver's seat of the other seat of the car. I had to like convert it. And then when I went back to America, I kept getting another one because I kept converting it.
Well, you just divide it by 2 and add 30.